Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Christian Music Bro podcast or the Christian Music Bro. I'm Brendan, and as you can see, Braden's not here again, but we'll just call it the Christian Music Bro podcast for today. Braden, come on, we missed you, bro. This is the second time this week, but it happens. Life happens, and we're all forgiven. So if you see Braden around in the Nashville area, tell me, say hi, and you miss him on the podcast, everyone. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm with Dimas Cortez, so I'm going to let Dimas introduce himself now.
I'm Dimas Cortez. I'm a Christian recording artist, and I'm excited about being on the podcast today. And I'm originally from California. I live right now in Pennsylvania area, so I'm excited to be putting out music, and we'll dive more into that during the interview. So thanks
Just
for having me on here.
No problem. You're welcome. This is not a question I was going to ask, but now I'm curious. How did you end up from California to Pennsylvania? Is that part of your music journey? So,
Well, you know what? Okay, that's funny because I was born in Los Angeles, California, and I was there till I was like 9 or 10. So my dad had a job transferred to the East Coast. So that's how we ended up in Pennsylvania. So our family members went before, and my dad had found a position out here in the East Coast. So it's definitely different from the West Coast, but here I am. So I've been, we have all our families here. So I went to college here. I've been to,
mhm.
high school. Yeah, just a lot of lasting relationships that I've had here now. So it's basically home now. But I go to California to do recordings. I still have connections out there with my producers and stuff like that. So I go
that's,
yearly.
that's really cool because I usually hear people from like Texas and Nashville. I was like, that's not that big. That's only like 10
Yeah,
hours or whatever. But from
yeah,
Cali to Pennsylvania, that's like all the way across the country.
completely. Yeah, completely another side. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us, and we're glad to have you here. Let's just start in. Can you tell us a little bit about your music background, like how you got started in music, and from there?
Yeah, actually, I started self-teaching myself music when I was like 13 years old. So I started with YouTube channel, YouTube videos, when just learning piano and to be honest with you, well, let me backtrack a little bit. I went to Bible college after high school and I went for music. I was there for 2 years, and then I was gonna go for 2 years for like an associate's in music, but honestly, I got so discouraged that I actually switched my major from music to theology because I felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I couldn't sing. I felt like, even my really good friend that to this day he's like shocked that I'm like song is like playing on the radio because he's like, man, I just remember when you couldn't sing at all, like you were off pitch like all the time. And so like, it's just incredible to see like the practice and the time that I put in and the effort, and just handing my life over to God. And those moments in the practice rooms where I'd be so frustrated. I was like, man, why can't I get this? Why can't I sing either
Mhm.
right or just kind of like giving my life for God and I mean to God and just asking the Lord just multiply my talent and multiply my efforts and the rest is history. And now here I am and it's been an exciting journey, but I'd like to share a little bit more about that once we get a little bit deeper into the interview.
That's very cool. Um, is this mic still working? I think so. Okay. Technology, you love it. It works when you don't want it to work, but it doesn't work when you need it to work. I say that all the time at my job. And I feel like that's the reality of everything about technology. And then I was doing a little research about you before I started this podcast episode. So you do music, but you're also a nurse practitioner. I can't pronounce the word
No,
practitioner.
yeah, practitioner, yeah.
So
Yeah,
how
yeah.
did,
Which is
is that what is that because is that how you started? Like, so is music like your side gig, or is that something you went to school for and you decided to transform into music from there?
so like after Bible college, I went I went there for 4 years and then I did music theology and then I came back and then it's funny because I came back and I was like, okay, what am I going to do now with my life?
Mhm.
It's like, I went to Bible college and I was helping out my church with music and I was like, but I need like a sustainable career. So I decided to do nursing and then I went to nursing and then once I was out in like the field, like I went back to become a nurse practitioner. So that's how that all kind of came about. It wasn't an easy journey. There's a lot of times where I wanted to quit, but I'm thankful for the resilience and the continual just support from family members and friends, and so that's how it is. But it's interesting because being a nurse practitioner, sometimes like I've had moments where I've actually sang to patients and I prayed with them, just kind of like
Mhm.
encourage them, in the Lord. And so it's been an interesting journey. And then, my coworkers, I've never told them that I was a recording artist. They just all found out, like, and they're like sharing my music everywhere. So it's been really interesting just to kind of minister to my coworkers too, and just have times where I'm able to speak to them or like share a song with them. And then, like having them not only see what I do like on video, but like living my life day by day as an example.
Mhm. I was going to ask you, did you sing to your patients? So you kind of answered that question. That was just going to be one of the fun questions. I'm just coming up with some of these questions on the fly, and that was one of them I had. But so you do have an album out. It came out in 2021 called Better Days. Can you tell us a little bit about that album or any stories you have about that album?
Yeah, I think that was kind of like the beginnings of my like musical journey. Since that time, I've been putting out like a lot of singles.
Mhm.
So like I think that's the way to go now, like just putting out singles and like letting every song like shine and have its time.
That's
But
what we
but
bring
the
up on
begin
our.
what's
Sorry,
that?
I was gonna say that's what me and Brad bring up. Like every time we grab an artist, like, we put out singles. So I feel we are Brad and I are on the same team that singles are the new way into Christian music, and then all the singles released, then the album comes out after it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like I was gonna say, so that was like the start of my musical journey. Actually, I guess worked up enough courage to start like recording. And
Mhm.
some of those songs on there, like the first song that I ever released was Break the Night. And I think that was kind of like a staple in my life because, I have a lot of, there's a lot of past with my father being an into alcohol, and he was an
Mhm.
alcoholic. And then he deals with like mental health disorders. So, that like that always like played a part in my like upbringing because he was never there for me, or like there was like times where he was absent. But like recently I was able to just kind of be with him again and just kind of speak to him about those things, and he was listening out to me. But anyways, that album was like just filled with like moments in my life where God was dealing with those situations, and that void that I had from a father, or like the trauma that it brought about,
Mhm.
or like the insecurities that I might have had, and just all those things. So the first song, Break the Night, was literally like a prayer, like, God, break this moment from me, like break the night, like let your light come into my life and just break the night. So that was kind of like the journey. And the Better Day was just a song. The album is named after the song Better Day, because that was like a word that God had given me. He said like a better day is coming, like in spite of like everything that I've been through, like there is something greater on the other side. So that song came from those moments in my life.
Awesome. Do you have a personal favorite song from the album, like a personal song that you hold dear to your heart? You might have answered this already with one of them already, but
Yeah, that's a good question. It's hard, because it's like it's hard to answer that question, because like every song like has its moment in my life,
Mhm.
and it played like a part in my life. But it's like, I have like some Christian contemporary or like some Christian techno in there, like some
Mhm.
dance, like Christian dance. So it's like it's a really difficult question. I have to think about that one.
Yeah, that's cool. Like, I was just curious to see if everyone has like ever have a personal song they like, or like just
Yeah.
what song they prefer over the others.
Yeah,
So,
I guess it depends on like the the mood I'm in, I guess,
yeah. Excuse me. Sorry, I worked all day. I apologize. I work in medical field too, so I know you're pain.
Oh, okay. What do you do?
I'm a pharmacy tech, so
Oh, okay, nice.
not
Nice.
as hands-on as you are, but
Yeah.
but still. But anyway, so you just said you've been putting out a lot of singles lately. Can you tell us a little bit about those singles and if you're working on anything towards with those singles?
Yeah, you know what? I've actually been working on like taking a different route, like because before the most recent song that I released, which was called "I'm Ready," I released a song "Come Holy Spirit," and that was like the first worship song that I released, and "I'm Ready" is the second one. But before that, I was doing like solo artistry music, like radio songs, just things that you would listen to like in a car or listen to the radio, or stream on
Mhm.
Spotify sometimes. But this time, I took a different route for a little bit, just doing worship music. So it's been really good because I feel like I've gotten a really good response from it. Having people like play songs in the churches, and they sending me videos of like, hey, we're doing this at this conference, or it's really inspiring. So I'm excited. So I'm like kind of in this vein for this moment. I have other songs that I have that I want to release that are still like in that solo Christian artistry
Mhm.
that are to come, but like it's just hard to find the time, because I'm in this worship mode right now, so I'm just gonna just kind of go flow with it. So
Exactly. And those who are listening, if you haven't listened to Dimas's music yet, you can find it everywhere: Spotify, Apple, MySpace. Maybe not
yeah,
MySpace, but
yeah, yeah,
wherever.
everywhere where music is available, yeah.
Exactly. I just wanted to add MySpace in there because MySpace is going to be coming back in 2025. Just wait.
Anyway, oh
I
my
don't know.
goodness, I remember that. It's so funny that you mentioned that.
um, do you have for the people that are watching and they're like, oh, I want to like check out and support? Do you have like any like shows coming up or anything for anyone?
It's interesting that you say that because we're actually working on like this year I've been wanting to develop my like tour like even more locally, but
Mhm.
then I'm also going to be in Nashville with the last week of June, so I'm trying to like book some events like some open mic nights or some like songwriting showcases, stuff like that. So I'm not sure, but I'll definitely have to like shoot you something if I get some more dates solidified.
And I think he has a website or a Facebook page or an Instagram page, so you
Yeah,
can.
socials right now, like Facebook, Instagram, and then also obviously YouTube. But then I'm also working. Like kind of like everything is a work in progress. So working on websites and
Exactly.
maintaining all that stuff. So.
And we just have a few more minutes with you today. We just want to take your whole day. Do you have anything you want to talk about or bring up that we haven't talked about on this podcast?
I did want to go back to like my beginnings of music because I think a lot of times people
Mhm.
get discouraged when they want to start singing or songwriting, and it's like it took me so many bad songs, so many like terrible lyrics and terrible like
Mhm.
melodies and criticism to get to a solid song. So sometimes when you're in the beginning stages, a lot of times people compare themselves to someone that's already like arrived or there, not that I've arrived, but just like someone that you see like, oh
Right.
wow, like his music is playing here and there and there. But always remembering that there's always a journey that comes with the like what you see.
Mhm.
There's always a story, there's always like the sacrifice of practicing. And I do want to just encourage your listeners, if they're interested in singing or playing or songwriting, like just not giving up and pursuing and being resilient and continually press on. But the most important thing that I did with my practice times, that I'd always pray, God, help me to multiply the practice time so that you can just completely take over my voice, my hands as I play, so that I can glorify your name. And I think that was like the biggest thing, like I truly have a heart to worship. I really want to please God in everything that I do, in every song, every lyric. I want to be his voice. And I think that so many times the enemy tries to discourage us, those people that God is raising up. Someone might be listening now and say that, I'm not good enough, I'm not this or that. But you know what? It's just the time that you put into it. You're going to be the time that you put into what you want to be. So it's like continue practicing. I just want to encourage you guys, everybody, just practice and pray that God helps you and find coaches, vocal coaches, songwriting coaches. It's so important to have support and criticism too. Criticism is not taken well, in music because it makes people very vulnerable. But I think it's really important to continue sharpening your sword by others telling you, no, that's not good, work on this, you may not sound good there, or work on that, because that's how you get better, right? So that's kind of
Exactly.
like my soapbox.
Practice doesn't make perfect. It makes better.
Yeah.
We're not
Yes,
machines,
definitely.
so but
Yes.
everyone that's listening, like I said, I've said this already. You can show Dimas support by listening to it on his all music platforms, showing his socials all support. And Dimas, thank you again for help coming on with us today, or me. Brandon's not here, but I always say us. But thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
And everyone tuning in, we'll see you next time on the Christian Music Bros podcast. This is Brendan, and we hope you have a great week.